Welcome to my apartment, ladies and gentlemen, in beautiful Berlin. We've got here 170 square meters in the center of Berlin. It doesn't get more city center than this. I moved in here 2 years ago and I've been doing my vlogs from this apartment, and a lot of you guys asked me to finally do a proper apartment tour. And that's what I'm gonna do today. We've got here a $3 million apartment. And this is not bought, I'm renting it since 2 years, and at the end of the video I'll let you know how much I'm paying and the reason why I'm paying so much, because some people might think I'm crazy if you hear the number. We are gonna do room for room. Right now we're here in the living room. Actually it's the room where I spend the least amount of time in, but that I think it's the most aesthetically pleasing. We've got in total 170 square meters, and I believe this room should be around 50, 60 square meters if I had to guess. I've had most of the things that you're gonna see custom made, and some things are just bought ready to put in your apartment, like this beautiful couch here. I think this one is from West Wing, and most of the decoration that I have is out of metal, and the company that I always buy from, this is not a sponsored ad, it's from 101 Copenhagen. I just love them, and I think they have made beautiful stuff. And yeah, all the other things are most of the times custom made. I will walk you through it. For instance, the horrendously expensive curtains that I spent a lot of money. You will see how many curtains I have in this apartment. It's insane. I think it's a few soccer fields if you would lay it out. And yeah, they're all gray, black, cream. I try to make this apartment as neutral as possible, because I like to walk through the apartment and not being impacted left and right by colors or pictures hanging on the walls. And I like it to be aesthetically pleasing, and when you look at things you think, oh, that's pretty, but it doesn't catch your attention whilst you're walking through the apartment. And I think that's the beauty of it. And I also like to keep the spaces open. When you look around later, you will see that everything is open, as well as, you know, the living room area. I have the couch at the corner, so it's not standing in the middle of the apartment. It takes so much space, and these televisions that are, you know, on tripods work perfectly for that. We have my beautiful plants here. This is the small one. I don't give them names, but I love them a lot. I take a lot of care of them, although it doesn't seem like it on this specific plant right now. This is the smaller one. I believe it's around 2 meters tall. I've had this one for 2-3 years, but man, let's talk about the big boy over here. This is my beloved plant. I've had it for 5 years. It was standing in my office in Hamburg before we moved to Berlin, and I took it to my apartment, and right now it's almost, I believe we have a high ceiling of 5 meters. I'm 180, so you can see how big this plant is, and it has grown so much. Like when I got it, it was like this. And I play piano for my plant every evening, every night. I've been playing since I was a kid, and I have this hybrid grand piano that you can lower and, you know, play around the volume. It's great if you have neighbors. The walls are incredibly big, so they don't really care. As you can see, most of the walls are exposed concrete, so everything is super thick, so you don't really hear anything from the neighbors, which I love about new buildings. And this one is built completely new. When I moved in, I was the first one moving in, and there was absolutely nothing in here apart from the ground, from the floor, and the kitchen, and I will show you in a bit. All the rest, it's been made for me, by me. And as you can see, there's very little decorations around. I have this beautiful bar, custom built. I drew it on Figma. It's like a sketchboard, and I had it then made with the company Raummodul from Berlin. Excellent job, big shout out to them again. Nothing that I will show you or that I generally show on my channel is ever sponsored, but if I like it, I like to you know, suggest it to you. And they made this bar and all the other furniture that you will see. I had it open, so when you walk into the living room, you're again not blocked by anything big, but you can see through. And if you paid attention, I had the pillows from the sofa opened, and I made the cushion of the chairs with the leather of the pillows. So everything is matching. And then I have a bunch of alcohol that I rarely drink. There is fridge in there, and the alcohol just looks cool, but I drink very little. But if I do, I have a beautiful bar to invite my friends in. The chessboard is also there. If my friends want to come and get their ass beaten, they know where to find me. And then we come to the kitchen. The only thing that was in here when I moved in. There have been built for all the apartments in the complex, and I don't use it. I think I've used the kitchen, if I'm honest with you, 2 or 3 times. So it's not, you know, it's more of a design object than anything else. Obviously I have my protein shakes, my supplements and all the stuff in here, but I don't really use it, which is a shame because it's beautiful, but I don't want to waste my time in cooking. I know a lot of people enjoy it. I'd rather use the time working. Then I installed this big closet in here where I have, you know, all the jackets, all my shoes in here. Not going to show you because it's a little mess in there. And then we come to the dining area. This one is being used when I order food. I like to eat here. When I have friends over, either we sit on the bar or we sit over here. This is again from 101 Copenhagen, beautifully done. This one was custom made. And then you can see where all the furniture started, because when I first started designing the furniture, I started with this one. And this one was designed based on the chairs, because I had the chairs at first, and then I designed all the elements based on the chairs, you know, the thickness of the models here, and the width of the deep depth of the, you know, single elements. And it turned out fantastic, and I then took the wood and had all the other furniture made with that wood. And then again, you see some elements, a Sonos system everywhere in the apartment, which is blasting in the morning some jazz music when I drink my coffee and have my morning routine at the bar. I like to do my emails there when I first wake up, have a coffee, the sun shines in, I'm listening to the jazz music. That's how I like to start my days. And then you have some other design elements here. Again, most of the elements are from the same brand. And then I'll show you the office, and at the end we're gonna go to the bedroom, and we've got 3 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms, which also one of them is also an office, and we've got a sauna, spa, all the gym, all the bars, a big terrace that I didn't show you. Actually, let's do that first before we moved on to the next room. We've got here a beautiful big terrace that I rarely use, but I love that the sun comes in and you can sit here in the summer, enjoy your coffee, eat something, you know, get some tan in the cold Berlin right now. Although it appears warm, it's actually relatively cold. Well, actually, to be honest, right now it's a little warm, which is unusual at this time of the year in Berlin. But we've picked a beautiful day to do this apartment tour. Okay, now let's get you to the office, and then you will see how big the apartment actually is, because you're only seeing a small fraction of it. Here's a huge floor, and you will see why I have so many curtains, because all the entire wall, which is I think 30 meters long, or maybe even longer, it's full with curtains. So technically I could use the curtains, because honestly most of the times they're always open. But yeah, I'll now show you the office. Let's get into it. And here we are at my office and guest room. Before we got the other office, we initially started building the one here, and everything was full with samples, like hundreds of samples, and everything was, you know, super stacked, and it was not as tidy as it is right now. So I'm very happy that we now got the office. And here you can see a room that is almost 100% custom made. Everything that you see is from the same wood as you saw from the bar and the dashboards. I've had some shelves for the books. I like to keep everything clean. I will do a separate video on the setups that I have for working here as well as my office, because I know a lot of you guys want to see it. I have Apple Studio here, my MacBook. You know, I love Apple, so everything is from Apple again. Some decorations here. Some of my books here, a huge board over here, and also custom, well, you know, as I told you, everything is made by the carpenter, some decorations again from 101. And in here is a huge bed. So I can technically open it and you have a 1.60 m queen size bed. I've had a safe installed over here. Not worth breaking in. There's nothing from value, it's mostly documents. And this is also a high security apartment complex with concierge and securities and everything. So even if there was, it's gonna be very hard and it's not worth it because there's nothing in there. Then we have a new bike that I just recently bought. I wanna work whilst being on the bike. I still need to install the pedals. This one is from Garmin, and this is beautiful because I can connect it with my Garmin watch, and you will see some working sessions in here. And if you get to jump on a call on Google Meet with me for whatever reason, you'll be seeing me most likely on the bike sweating my ass off. And then here you can see the second bathroom, which is from ensuite, beautifully done, rarely used. You have everything in here you need: a shower, 2 sinks. If I have guests over, they have their little safe space. And then we move on to the next room, which is the first bathroom. Actually, this is the one that the guest uses the most. Here we have a small bathroom. This one I had installed because I don't like my, wash machine and dryer hanging around. So I built it in here, and this is also super cool because I have all my laundry in here, and you don't see it anywhere. As you can see, I don't like having things laying around. And then a little sink over here, and again, I like to pay attention to details, and I like to have everything matching all together. You have all the same elements in all the bathrooms. And this is the guest bathroom, so the first bathroom, and now we go to the room where the magic happens, ladies and gentlemen. My favorite room, and where I spend most of my time in, because now I spend most of my time at the office, and when I get home it's very late, so most of the times I jump straight into the bedroom. Let's go. All right, here we are in the master bedroom. Again, as you can see, super clean, not much stuff laying around. I like to have it clean, especially in the bedroom. No television, because I like to be focused on sleeping or reading whilst I'm in the bedroom. And when I'm in the bedroom, I'm there to relax. And here you can see a big closet that goes to the ceiling. This was custom made, but not by the same carpenter. This is not from the same wood, unfortunately, but because we bought it before we started doing everything custom. And this is from Polyform, the same brand as the kitchen. Super cool with the lightnings and etc. But I'm not going to show you my closet on this video. Then we have again some decorations, again from 101 Copenhagen. We have some very clean bed setup. This bed, I believe, is from West Wing, so it wasn't that expensive, to be completely honest with you. But there's a lot of brands that have excellent stuff that's not expensive. So it's not about the price, it's more about the design. And I couldn't find a better bed that I liked most, so I went for this one. And we have here an 8-sleep built in. This is, for those that don't know what it is, essentially it's a system, it's a cover that is on top of the bed, and it regulates the temperature. So if you're in certain sleep stages, it gets hotter or colder, so you have more REM sleep. It's excellent, especially if you have a girlfriend and she's laying next to you. It's basically like having a radiator next to you, so it helps regulate the temperature beneath the blanket. So that's one is a very nice thing that I can recommend to everyone. One of the best investments. Again, some decorations. I have Philips Hue installed in all the lamps, so when I'm going to bed, everything is red. I have the whole apartment in red mode, what I like to call it, and that helps, slowly get into the sleeping stage. And what else? We have a mirror, obviously only for the single purpose of see how you're dressed. And with that said, we're moving on. A little book here that I'm reading for the 5th time or so. Anthony Robbins, The Power Principle, I believe it's called in English. Excellent book, big recommendation. It's my 5th time reading it. If you ever start reading about, you know, entrepreneurial stuff and mindset, etc., this is a great foundation. And then we get to the master bathroom. We have, again, it's very similar to the bathroom that we had in the guest room. We also have here, as well as in the guest room, a little closet installed, so things are not laying around, and you have a bunch of stuff, place to put your stuff in, like your toothbrush, etc. So if you walk around the apartment, you don't see personal stuff. It may even look like, you know, nobody's living here, but that's how I like it. Then we have a bathtub that I use very rarely, and big windows, a lot of light coming in to get ready. For me, it's not that important, but if you have a girlfriend, you know, that's excellent. One scale from within that connects to the Whoop, and, you know, it helps optimize your body even better. Big ass shower, and, you know, where you do the business, and some decoration. Again, everything always from the same brand, as you can see in all bathrooms. And here you can see, maybe if you go to the very end, how big the floor is from one end of the apartment to the other. So you get your steps in here in this apartment. That's the number one reason why I got it. So I get my 10,000 steps every day. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna walk you through the numbers. Let's talk money. Let's get to the bar, where I usually have this type of calls, and I will share with you all the details about this apartment, what I spent on the things, on the bar, on rent, why I'm spending so much on an apartment, why it's so important for me. So let's get it. All right, let's talk numbers. I know a lot of people are always super interested in what these type of things cost. And since I'm super transparent with you, I always share all the numbers on building our company, the journey that I share here on my YouTube channel. I'll also share the numbers here of the apartment. We've got here a 170 square meter apartment in the center of Berlin. It doesn't get more centered. This is a brand new building. Everything you wish for is in this near surroundings, my gym, super great restaurants, and basically everything you need. We've got top-notch amenities like spa, gym, we've got a swimming pool, we've got a concierge, security, so everything you can wish for, and everything is built as in the best standards. With that said, I believe we have a ceiling height of around 4.5–5 meters, and everything inside the apartment is also built in the best standards. I have spent on the furniture, including the curtains and all the custom-made furniture like the bar, the dashboards, and the guest room, etc., probably around 200 to 250,000 US dollars, and which I know is a lot of money, especially for a place that you're renting. But I will come to that, why I'm spending so much on my apartment in a bit. I am paying 8,300 euros, which should be around 9,000 US dollars in rent every month. And there is already the 2 garages included that I have, as well as my parking spot in a very safe space just beneath this. So I know it's a lot of money, especially for German standards, but if you look at the international level, it's honestly not that much. If you're watching this video and you live in London, you probably think, Jesus Christ, this apartment is going to cost 3 times that if you live in London, and in New York even more, and that's true. For international standards, it's still probably a bit pricey, but not super expensive. For German standards, I understand it's a lot of money. Now we come to the point why I spend so much money on this. I believe that the apartment says a lot about you, and it also brings you in a certain mindset. When I wake up in this apartment, I'm super inspired, and I feel like driven to build even more. I feel like the energy that I've put in, and everything feels motivating for me. For me, it's super inspiring. I work a lot in the creator economy, and I like to invite people over, so I like to have a space where they also feel inspired and they feel safe and they like to come in. And that's why I feel so comfortable in here, and that's why I spent so much money. And honestly, the money is also not gone. When I decide to move out of Germany or to a different city or to a different apartment, the way I designed it, I believe, that's at least what I've been hearing, that someone else would be willing to just buy me out in that sense and get the exact same setup, because that bar, for instance, is custom made for this and it fits beautifully in here, and someone might want to have it. So I don't see it as the money is gone. And yeah, that's the reason why I like to invest so much money in my apartment. I believe it's a great investment, and I hope you like it. A lot of you people have been asking for it. Now you might ask yourself, okay, Alvaro, you're a founder and you share your journey, you're building in public. Why are you doing an apartment tour? Man, because I've been getting so many DMs of you. I finally do a proper apartment tour, because you always see it in my videos. Now you finally have it. And before we end this video, I'm gonna bring you to the office, because I promised you earlier in the video that I'm gonna show you the office. I have built it exactly like this apartment. It also has exposed concrete walls. It has the same wood. It's the same carpenter that built the office, and it feels like it's an extended room of this apartment. And that's why I feel so comfortable in there, and all the employees love to work from there. With that said, let's get over to the office. All right, welcome to the day one headquarters. That's not gonna be a huge office tour. I just wanted to quickly show you that we have the same design here as in my apartment. Everything is made out of the same wood, using the same elements and decoration as in my apartment. And you might recognize this bar from my apartment. I have that in the living room. I also have these lights in the living room. You haven't seen that, but it's super cool in the evening. And that brings a special touch to the apartment. Also here with some refrigerator, and here's some closets, the desk where the employees work from. Today is no one in the office, but you know, that's where everybody is chilling and working from. And I'm also going to show you really quick downstairs. Here we have the showroom and the archive with all the pieces that we have manufactured, and then we have huge bathroom areas over here. Way too big. I don't know why they designed it that way, but it's better have than need. All right, let's get up. All right, that was my apartment tour. I hope you liked the apartment and you liked today's video. I think it's not too bad for a kid coming from Spain with absolutely nothing in the pockets. I'm super proud of the place and the life that I've been able to build. And if you want to see my entrepreneurial journey, I share everything on this channel, on how we built day one of Europe's fastest growing sportswear brand, and a lot more. I hope to inspire a person or two with this channel. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week.